Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, Text 8. Vidaha sapatni udita patribihi anti ragyaha balaha api san upagataha tapase vanani tasmai adat juvagatim grinate prasanaha divyaha stuvanti munayaha yat upari udastat vidahasapat yodita pratib. What is it? Vidasapat yodita patribir antiragyo. Is it like that? Balo pisan upagatas tapasevanani. Tasma adajuvagatim grinate prasano. Divyastuvanti munayo yadupar yadastat. Vidha sapat nudita patribir antiragyo. Balo pisan upagatas tapasevanani. Tasma adajuvagatim grinate prasano. Divyastuvanti munayo yadupar yadastat. Vidha sapat nyudita patribir antiragyo. Balo pisan upagatas tapasevanani. Tasma adajuvagatim grinate prasanno. Divyastuvanti munayo yadupar yadastat. I'll do one more. That's three.
Vidasapatnya dita patri biranti ragyo.
Vidasapatnya udita
Balo pisan upagatas tapasevanani.
Balo pisan upagatas tapasevanani.
Tasma adatu vagating grinate prasano.
Tasma adajuvagatim grinate prasanno.
Divyastuvanti munayo yatupar yadastat.
Divyastuvanti munayo yadupar yadastat.
Vidha sapatni udita patribi antiragyo.
Vidha sapatnyudita patribir antiragyo.
Bhalo pisan upagatas tapasevanani.
Balo pisan upagatas tapasevanani.
Tasma ada dhruva gating grinate prasano.
Tasma adajuvagatim grinate prasanno.
Divyastuvanti munayo yaduparyadastat.
Divyastuvanti munayo yadupar yadastat.
Vidha sapatni udita patribit antiragyo.
Vidha sapatnyudita patribir antiragyo.
Balo pisan upagatas tapasevanani.
Balo pisan upagatas tapasevanani.
Tasma adaju vagatim grinate prasano.
Tasma adajuvagatim grinate prasanno.
Divyastuvanti munayo yarupa yadastat.
Divyastuvanti munayo yadapar yadastat.
Vidhas paranti vidat parabir antindagnyo
Vidhasapatnyudita patribir antiragyo.
balo pisam upagatas tapasavarnani tasma dada durvagatim granate pasano divyas tuvanti manayoyad upaya adastat
Anti munayo yadupar yadastat. Okay. Vidha, pinched by. Sapatni, a co-wife. Udita, uttered by. Patribihi, by sharp words. Anti, just before. Ragyaha, of the king. Balaha, a boy. Api, although. Son, being so. Upagataha, took to. Tapase, severe penances. Vanani, in a great forest. Tasmai, therefore. Adat, gave as a reward. Druvagatim, a path to the Dhruva planet. Grinate, on being prayed for. Prasanaha, being satisfied. Divyaha, denizens of higher planets. Stuvanti, do pray. Munayaha, great sages. Yat, therefore. Upari, up. Adastat, down. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Being insulted by sharp words spoken by the co-wife of the king. Even in his presence, Prince Dhruva, though only a boy, took to severe penances in the forest. And the Lord, being satisfied by his prayer, awarded him the Dhruva planet, which is worshipped by great sages, both upward and downward. Report. When he was only 5 years old, Prince Dhruva, a great devotee, and the son of Maharaj Uttanapad, was sitting on the lap of his father. His stepmother did not like the king's patting her stepson, so she dragged him out, saying that he could not claim to sit on the lap of the king because he was not born out of her womb. The little boy felt insulted by this act of his stepmother, nor did his father make any protest, for he was too attached to his second wife. After this incident, Prince Dhruva went to his own mother and complained. His real mother also could not take any step against this insulting behavior, and so she wept. The boy inquired from his mother how he could sit on the royal throne of his father, and the poor queen replied that only the Lord could help him. The boy inquired where the Lord could be seen, and the queen replied that it is said that the Lord is sometimes seen by great sages in the dense forest. The child prince decided to go into the forest to perform severe penances in order to achieve his objective. Prince Dhruva performed a stringent type of penance under the instruction of his spiritual master, Sri Narada Muni, who was specifically deputed for this purpose by the personality of Godhead. Prince Dhruva was initiated by Narada into chanting the hymn composed of 18 letters, namely, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And Lord Vasudev incarnated himself as Prishni Garbha, the personality of Godhead with 4 hands, and awarded the prince a specific planet above the 7 stars. Prince Dhruva, after achieving success in his undertakings, saw the Lord face to face, and he was satisfied that all his needs were fulfilled. The planet awarded to Prince Dhruva Maharaj is a fixed Vaikuntha planet, installed in the material atmosphere by the will of the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. This planet, although within the material world, will not be annihilated at the time of devastation, but will remain fixed in its place, And because it is a Vaikuntha planet, never to be annihilated, it is worshipped even by the denizens of the 7 stars, situated below the Dhruva planet, as well as by the planets which are even above the Dhruva planet. Maharshi Bhrigu's planet is situated above the Dhruva planet. So the Lord incarnated himself as Prishni Garbha, just to satisfy a pure devotee of the Lord. And Prince Dhruva achieved this perfection simply by chanting the hymn mentioned above. After being initiated by another pure devotee, Narada, a serious personality can thus achieve the highest perfection of meeting the Lord and attain his objective simply by being guided by a pure devotee, who automatically approaches by dint of one's serious determination to meet the Lord by all means. The description of Prince Dhruva's activities can be read in detail in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Melitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. What's the verse that you always say before Bhagavatam? Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate garim yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. So, being insulted by sharp words spoken by the co-wife of the king even in his presence, Prince Dhruva, though only a boy, took to severe penances in the forest, and the Lord, being satisfied by his prayer, awarded him the Dhruva planet, which is worshipped by great sages both upward and downward. So we heard in the purport that someone can attain the highest perfection simply by being guided by a pure devotee who automatically approaches by dint of one's serious determination to meet the Lord by all means. So by the mercy of the Lord, one gets the spiritual master, and by the mercy of the spiritual master, one gets Krishna. And this is the process of engaging in devotional service, is that it's done under the guidance of a pure devotee. So one actually needs a spiritual master in order to guide them. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, when he says that one must approach a spiritual master, he uses the word must. So it's a must for one who wants to make the best use of this human form of life. One gets their birth by their mother and their father, but one gets their second birth by the mother of the Vedas and the father of the spiritual master. And in this way, one can actually come to the human platform and perfect their life. So just like we learn anything, we need to learn it from some teacher. So in the same way, the spiritual master is much more than a teacher, like any kind of teacher we get in school. But in the same way, to learn the topmost science, we have to learn it from a superior authority. And we were hearing how Dhruva Maharaj, he was given the process by Narada Muni, and he engaged in this chanting process sincerely, and then he was able to see the Lord face to face. So similarly, we've been given the process of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Dhruva Maharaj, it was explained, he was given the hymn composed of 18 letters. So when he's chanting, he's saying all of those 18 letters. And the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it's described in many verses that it's a 32 syllable mantra. So that means when we're chanting, if we practice sincerely like Dhruva Maharaj, then we need to say each of these 32 syllables. So Dhruva Maharaj, when he's chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, he's not sleeping. And he's also pronouncing the whole mantra. He was standing on one foot, so it's not that he actually had any time to sleep. And he wasn't worrying about what he was going to eat either. He wasn't chanting that and then going and getting a snack. But he's chanting and he was eating at first only these berries, which are usually just meant for monkeys and animals like that. And then just some leaves. And then after that, eventually he was only taking air. So that kind of determination is needed when it comes to the orders of the spiritual master and perfecting one's life. So similarly, when we're chanting Hare Krishna, we have to pronounce the whole mantra and pronounce it awake, because we have certain conditioning, and especially if we're born in most of the modern world today, and also especially in the Western world here, we're more or less we've for 20 something years or however long it took before we met devotees, we've conditioned ourselves to be asleep during the Brahma Muhurta hour. That was our rigorous training to make sure we were asleep at Brahma Muhurta. But now at that most auspicious time, we're trying to engage in devotional service. So we should know that since I've been conditioned to do the opposite, to be sleeping at this time, that it's something I'll need to look out for. So we can at least be attentive to it. And in that way, we can chant Hare Krishna properly. And that means chanting the whole mantra too, because it's easy to fall into just making a sound and moving the beads. But the whole purpose of moving the beads and speaking something, namely the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, is to get the mercy of our spiritual master, of Srila Prabhupada, of the Sampradaya Acharyas, and in this way also get Krishna's mercy. So we're begging for the mercy of the Lord. O Krishna, please engage me in your service. O Hara or Hare, the energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service. So it's not just some mechanical thing. So in this way, it can be chanted, all 32 of the syllables. Because if we use 2 hours of the day and then actually just sat there or just slept or just mumbled some other sound or some different mantra, then what's the use? But if we're going to give that much time and attention, we might as well put it towards the best thing, which is trying to get the mercy of the Lord through the instructions of the spiritual master, which are to chant his holy name. So this is something I really need to hear. So I thought I'd speak on that for a little bit of time. And we see Dhruva Maharaj was so fixed in that instruction. He didn't do anything else. He was tested first. Narada Muni told him, hey, actually, you're just a boy. You shouldn't be so upset with these things and so concerned. Go back to your life. But he passed that test. He was actually not interested. He said, actually, I can't do that. And then Narada Muni gave him the instruction to chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And then Dhruva Maharaj minimized everything else in his life to do only that. So there's the material propensities in life that we see all living beings are doing, especially the animals. They're eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. But it's not that, okay, I won't sleep and I won't eat, and then I'll just become sick. We don't explain to do that in devotional service. But it is important to minimize these things. So just like the 6 Goswamis, they what is the verse? Nidra hara vihara kadi vijato chatyantadino chayo. They were minimizing their eating and their sleeping. The sleeping was only like 2 hours, sometimes not even that. And then the eating, Raghunath Das Goswami would take just a pat of butter every like other day. Sometimes not even that. Or it's explained he would get the rice. It's actually explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita the progression of his renunciation and how much it actually pleased Lord Chaitanya. There's a really nice verse explaining that. What is it like? The renunciation is the. Man, there's such a nice verse in the Antya Lila chapter, I think 6, when it's talking about Raghunath Das Goswami's renunciation. But anyways, he really pleased Lord Chaitanya by it. At first, he was getting some money from his family members, and he would just use that money to hold these feasts for the devotees. But eventually, he didn't want to keep accepting this money from materialistic people, because then he was thinking that, well, then my mind will become polluted by I'm accepting this invitation from a materialistic person, their mind's polluted, and then my mind is also polluted. So he stopped doing that. Lord Chaitanya was asking, why am I no longer being invited by Raghunath Das Goswami? And someone explained to him that he stopped accepting that money. And Lord Chaitanya was happy with that. And then he was begging alms outside of the temple, for like begging some alms of prasadam, and people would give him some. But then he even stopped doing that, and he would just go to instead this like free food stand in Jagannath Puri, where they give out the leftover prasadam, because the idea was that if one is begging, then for their maintenance, it's like taking up the mindset of a prostitute. Okay, this person has given me something today, maybe they'll give me something tomorrow, maybe that person will give me something, okay, no, maybe that one. So then he even gave up that, and he was just accepting the remnants of the prasadam that was being handed out. But then he gave up that also, so that he wasn't depending on others for his maintenance, and he just accepted the refuse of the prasadam that's thrown from the stall several days after it's been left out into the field for the cows, and it's so old that the cows don't even touch it. And he would take that rice and wash it with ample amounts of water, and then just eat the hard inner portion of the rice. And actually, he was very much encouraged in this by Lord Chaitanya, who came and he took a morsel of this and was saying, wow, we're taking different types of prasadam, but I'm never getting this this nicest, the best prasadam that Raghunath Das Goswami is having. So in this way, he encouraged him. So where were we going? Oh yeah, they were minimizing their eating and their sleeping. So that's also an important factor, is that the material necessities of the body are there, but they should only be engaged in as much as needed to keep the body fit for service. So meaning I eat as much as needed that isn't going to cause me to sleep more. I was just hearing this explained in a lecture by Srila Prabhupada. So like this, the material necessities of life can be minimized so that one can fully engage in devotional service under the direction of the spiritual master and the scriptures, as we see Dhruva Maharaj doing here. He didn't do anything else. He was standing there in the forest. Eventually he was just only eating, whatever leaves are falling. and then he would only take the air, and he was just fully absorbed in his devotional service. And in this way, by strictly following the order of the spiritual master, he achieved all success. He saw the Lord face to face. So this is a very inspiring example of how to engage in devotional service. He's strictly sticking to the order of the spiritual master, and then he's seeing the Lord. So Krishna is a person, so he can be seen. He has a form. It's not just that he didn't just see a light, but no, he saw the Lord face to face. He saw the face of the Lord. He saw the form of the Lord. He was touched even by one of the paraphernalia of the Lord, his conch shell. The Lord touched his head with it to like bless him. There's the verse in the Ishopanishad, Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pahitam mukam tatam pushana pavrinu satyadharmaya drishtaye, that, O Lord, please remove your blinding effulgence, which is covering your real face, and show your face to your pure devotee. So we understand beyond this idea of Brahman or the Brahmajyoti, the effulgence of the Lord, there is his face and his personal form. And Krishna, he has his personal qualities, and those are all explained in the Nectar of Devotion in the second part. So one of those qualities of his bodily form is that it is effulgent. So he's so effulgent, his effulgence is more than the sun. And the jewels on his necklace, on his jewelry, those are more effulgent than the sun, but his body is even more effulgent than them. So like this, he's very effulgent, and so much so that his influence puts down all others, like many great demons, or like the big wrestlers in the arena. When he entered the arena to fight Kamsa, they were afraid to see him. So his effulgence is even humbling. And then there's also different qualities that are described in the Nectar of Devotion of the Lord's personal form, such as he's strong. He has all strength. His arms are like, they're like pillars. Not that he just has some block stone, pillar for an arm, but no, they're so strong. With a pillar, it's supporting a whole building. You don't really see a pillar breaking by somebody hitting it or something. One did, but that was the Lord's own desire to come out of that pillar. And then his thighs are also powerful, like the trunks of elephants. So this is the quality of strength. The other one that is described is his quality of ruchira. He's very pleasing. So if you see something very pleasing, it's like hard to look away from it. You'll look back to it. So that's specifically the quality of Krishna. If you see his form, it's very nice to see. You don't want to look away. He's very attractive. And what other? Even his bodily features are explained in the Nectar of Devotion. Like his forehead is broad, his nose is raised. He has lotus features, like lotus eyes. His palms are like an expanded lotus. So now these are comparisons to like material things, but they give us an idea of the amazing and beautiful form of the Lord. His chest is broad. What else? There's so many like amazing details that are given. So that's his pleasing features. And then there was also there was more. There's 6 features that are described in the Nectar of Devotion. So like this, by engaging in devotional service, one with determination and seriousness, to follow the instructions of the pure devotee, will actually see the Lord face to face. So Srila Prabhupada has made that guarantee that if one simply follows the program that he's given, which means especially the morning program, and then also all the temple programs, chanting 16 rounds and following the 4 regulative principles, then they will go back to Godhead. So like this, that guarantee is just as good as if it's coming from Krishna himself, because it's coming from his pure representative. Okay. Are there any comments or questions? Yes, Ananda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So I was just going to make a quick comment in regards to this principle of renunciation. Is that okay?
Yeah. I was just repeating. I wasn't thinking so much. So there's probably a lot of areas to fill in.
Well, the idea is that this renunciation, it was so pleasing to the Lord, whether it's coming from Dhruva Maharaj or Raghunath Das Goswami, because it was a symptom of their devotion, not because they were doing it as a means to please Lord Chaitanya, or it's just a byproduct of their devotion. So it's not a process. Our process is not to artificially renounce to please Krishna. If I renounce, I'm going to please Krishna. They're not really thinking in that way. They're thinking, this is an impediment to my devotional service. So naturally, they're giving it up. So it's a symptom of their attachment to pleasing the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya was so pleased that they're so attached to their service that they're giving up so many things, not because they're trying to give up to please the Lord per se. It's a byproduct, not the means.
That's a nice point. Because even Arjuna, he wanted to renounce. He said, okay, I'll renounce this fighting occupation. It's not so nice. And Krishna chastises him, calls him a fool. You see, it's not just the renunciation, but like you're saying, it was a symptom of their service.
Because it was a symptom of how much attachment they have. He was pleased with the fact that they have so much attachment, not per se the renunciation.
I heard this point that even we see this in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, that if you want to renounce everything, or even if you want to enjoy everything, whatever you do, whether it's enjoying or renouncing or any action that you do, if it's not stemming from if the cause of it isn't Krishna's desire, to fulfill Krishna's desire, then it'll be wrong. If it's just stemming from, my own personal desire, I'll renounce in this way, I'll, be more happy, my life will be more simple or whatever, then it's still going to be the wrong thing. But the whole point is to do what is favorable for serving Krishna, to do what Krishna desires. Is that a fair addition, what you're saying?
Yeah, intention matters a lot. Gandhi was also very renounced, but he's bogus renunciation.
Okay, are there any other comments or questions? Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.